All right, so hey, this is Jaime with the band 1967 once again. I suck at writing melodies and songs, and I'm a horrible musician, and my voice stinks. And I've got
That's a good one.
Abraham Garcia on the other line, who played with 1967 for a show in 2018 or so. Does that sound right, Abraham?
Yeah, we were opening act for a well-known group in this part of the country. They're called Hemlock, and they come through Las Vegas quite a bit. They tend to hire local bands, and I believe one of you guys reached out to them. You were living in New Mexico at the time, I believe, and I remember he reached out to me and said, "This band, 1967," and that my first thought was they're probably some kid band. Or either I thought in my mind I thought they were either like a kid band or like these older cats from like the '60s playing old style music or whatnot.
Yeah.
And, I heard your tunes and I was like, who the hell are these guys? I gotta find out more.
Chad from Hemlock, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Chad. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's very inviting. He's a monster in the metal community. Like, he knows how to get small concerts in rural areas, like little towns, and make them happen without any sort of promoting and what do you call those, like hiring out promoters and such. He basically does the promoting himself. So
Yeah.
that's how I got to know him.
Yeah, Las Vegas to Las Vegas, Las Vegas, Nevada to Las Vegas, New Mexico, right?
The original.
I was living in Santa Fe at the time, and yeah, I reached out to him, but yeah, man. So hey, when did you start playing guitar and bass and all the stuff that you play, all the instruments you play?
So 22 years ago, I was a freshman in high school. My mother won a guitar in a contest, bingo or some shit. And when I'd always wanted to play guitar. It was my dream, basically, to become a musician. Green Day was my favorite band in the world. At that time, I was into like Smashing Pumpkins, Green Day. Not so much like adult bands like Rage Against the Machine. I was more into like Marilyn Manson and the really visual appealing and the music that they were playing wasn't anything that you kind of. My parents weren't into it. This is before heavy metal. So bands like Smashing Pumpkins and Stone Temple Pilots really appealed to me at that time. So I started just picking up the guitar. It wasn't until I heard Iron Maiden when I realized this is what I want to do. I heard Iron Maiden and said I want to play exactly like that. So I busted my ass for years. So I would say about 22 years ago, because of my mom winning that really cheap guitar, I became, I would say about 5 years later, a professional musician.
Yeah.
It's like that.
That's amazing. Welcome to paradise. Yeah. Okay.
you gotta love Green Day, man. I mean, they're a first for a lot of people, I believe.
That's a good album. I mean, they've had an album before that was on an indie, but that album was pretty big for them at the time.
I used to
That was in my CD player all the time, dude. When I was in high school, it was just like nonstop.
Oh, everyone.
Yeah, everybody loved them. Everybody, every fan of any kind of music and rock, they loved it. I think people that were into hip hop might have liked it too.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Who would be your favorite guitarist? Is it someone from Iron Maiden or who else?
Well, yeah, one of my biggest influences was Dave Murray from Iron Maiden, but I realized I take two parts from Iron Maiden. There's two guitar players. Adrian Smith really composes his guitar lines, and he really takes the time to, when he plays live, he plays those solos like he recorded them. I'm just like him, but I'm also a lot like Dave Murray, who takes that guitar solo and makes it his own every single time. So he improvs. I'm really open to interpretation depending on the week. 1 week I play this week, the next week I play another way. So I really love to improv, but at the same time, when I write my music, I like to compose and arrange it in a way that it's going to be the same forever.
Uh-huh.
I'm a lot like both guitar players.
Me too.
But I would say one of my biggest influences is Joe Centriani. Not just because longevity reasons, like the guy just does not stop. That's one thing I really love about him. He's not the most technical guitar player in the world, but he knows how to write a good melody, and he'll, even if it's kind of boring in a sense, like it doesn't have to be flashy.
Oh, yeah.
No, he just ran into his touch. Just when he bends a note, he makes that guitar scream, and I really like to do that too.
That's incredible. Who's your favorite band? I mean, I'm going to guess Iron Maiden, but...
Yeah, besides Iron Maiden, I mean, I have a lot of... Let's see, let me put it this way. Like, as far as genres go, I have my favorite. When it comes to my influences, those are always going to be top-notch. Green Day, Iron Maiden. But then you start getting into, like, other types of music, like Latin music.
Okay.
I'm a really big Ozo Motley fan. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Okay. Ozo Motley?
Ozo Motley.
Mm-hmm.
Santana is a really, really big influence on me.
Yeah, me too.
I listen to
love
a lot of Latin music, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, man. I love it. I love their live albums from like the mid-90s. Santana.
Oh, yes. He's got quite a few. One of my favorites was Moonflower. It's a good live album.
Yeah, it's like they were doing like the da-da-da, 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 like kind of weird breakdowns and stuff like that. And they're like change the songs around a little bit for like Oyo Como Va and everything like that.
Oh, yes. Well, they tend to speed up their songs a lot of times and play them improvisation. They can be different on any given night, and I like that too.
Yeah, he's all about improv, isn't he? Carlos Santana? Oh, yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, he'll never play the same guitar solo, and I've seen them twice, and every video I watch, let's say for instance their most popular song, Oya Como Va, or Black Magic Woman, is never the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's planned that way. You don't. Led Zeppelin does the same thing. They don't just accidentally make those songs sound like that. I think on any given night, they choose to play it different. I myself aren't a big fan of making my own music sound that way, but when it comes to jam music, like the Grateful Dead, Led Zeppelin, Santana, there's room for experimentation.
Absolutely. As Santana, it's funny because like Black Magic Woman's a cover song for them. And it's originally done by Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green lineup.
That's right. Yeah, you got a good heads up on that. That's Fleetwood Mac tune.
And like you hear the version by Fleetwood Mac, and you're like, yeah, this is great, and you hear the Santana version, you're like, this is freaking amazing.
It's kind of like taking your own song and arranging it in a different way to appeal to a wider audience.
So yeah, Greg, the keyboardist with Santana at the time, obviously went on to go and to be in Journey. He was like, dude, guys, we need to frickin' cover this song. I'm telling you. I think he was a Fleetwood Mac fan at the time, but we gotta we should just play this song. It'll be great.
Whoever's idea that was genius,
Yeah, God. He was keyboard. He's an organist from Seattle, Greg. I can't remember his last name from Journey. But yeah, dude, Santana, that's the birth of Journey, man. Yeah, Greg Raleigh?
Greg Raleigh.
Yeah, that's the birth of Journey, man.
Because I actually play in a Santana tribute band.
Yeah. Amazing.
We're called Smooth.
Yeah, and how's that experience? What do you like most about that?
It's great, man. It's as far as getting all my frustration out on the guitar is, I get to play lead guitar all night. Like, let's put it this way: every night I get to be Carlos Santana. That's like, I don't even have to play guitar chords half the time.
What's your favorite Santana song to cover?
I really like the song Europa. We killed that song. I really like the instrumentals like Moonflower, El Farol. That song, Supernatural. Those are really good. You know, they don't have lyrics in them, so.
Oh yeah, I love Santana, dude. That's amazing. What was the first concert that you attended? Like a band you were a fan of?
Well, my very first concert was Metallica, and that was in '99.
Yeah. Woo!
Jerry Cantrell opened that show.
God, I love that. Amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty. It wasn't supposed to be there. It was in Denver, Colorado, and I had to make my way up there. And it snowed. I remember it snowed in the Raton Pass, like 2 feet of snow, and they didn't let us through. But we still made it.
I saw that same tour, dude, in George, Washington. It's this place called The Gorge. And Cantrell opened. I think Days of the New opened for them as well.
Yes, Days of the New was the opening act. Yeah, exactly.
It was a good show.
They were great. They were kick-ass, man. They were like an acoustic like hard rock band, but they add distortion to their acoustic guitars. It was very interesting.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, how was your experience playing in 1967?
That experience was great. It was short. I wish I would have been able to play more gigs because the songs are where it's at. You guys are a great group. You guys made it a point to come down to Las Vegas and practice with us. It was Reyes on drums, myself on bass, and you had your 2 members. And man, the songs are there. They're great tunes. They weren't good songs, and if you guys weren't as talented, I mean, I probably wouldn't have put myself in that position. I was really impressed with the songs and the amount of professionalism that you guys had. I mean, you basically took 2 people you never even met before, and you included them in your lineup for that one gig, and it really freaking worked. I wish I could have done more.
Me too. Yeah, I wish we could have.
Us four would have been a good team. I was really looking forward to doing more shows, but you know, all that crap lined up with COVID.
That's amazing. How many hours a day are you practicing?
Anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. I practice in the morning and then in the evening, and that's if I'm lucky, but I make time for it.
That's awesome. Tell us the story when you received the call to start jamming with 1967.
So, well, I believe it was Reyes that reached out to me. I wasn't too sure as far as someone like you guys have a lot of tunes, and the songs that you guys put out were perfect for the set. They're really heavy. They got a really technical aspect to a lot of the songs, even though they're like in that genre is like grunge rock. It's I call it post grunge. Mm-hmm. Depending on when you guys started, but I was really excited, man.
That's cool. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. What's your favorite 1967 song?
I would have to say Goodbye My Brothers is a classic. I would probably have to say Flatlining Softly Flatlining Softly is, and there's another song that I can't remember the name. It really has like a Tool sound, really technical. It kind of sounds like Tool. It's got a lot of bass parts on it, like you know.
Oh yeah, that might have been Dead End Life or something, or
yes, that's the one.
Or I Am a Man, maybe.
It might be that one actually, because yeah, pretty much. I don't have the set list with me anymore. I have to look it up on iTunes, but those songs were really fun to play. I remember on the set that I played with you guys, I actually broke a bass string. And I was playing hard, man, and I still made it work with the strings that I did have. Great tunes, man. Good job.
What venue did you play at?
We played at it was a lounge, Lupe's Lounge.
That's right. I remember Chad was telling me, he's like, yeah, I just drink a lot of energy drinks. Guy from Hemlock. That's all I drink is energy drinks. He was so wound up.
Yeah, I think they're sponsored by Rockstar, so.
Oh yeah. What musical idol would you want to meet before you kick the bucket, Abe?
Well, I've got to meet quite a few rock stars and like living legends. I would say, besides like my, heroes, like let's say Billy Joel Armstrong, there's one guy that I'm really interested in meeting. His name is Michael Kiske. He's a singer from a band called Halloween.
Oh.
Wow. I don't know why. I'm really intrigued by the way he sings, and he just seems like the coolest freaking guy. Michael Kiske. Kiske.
I remember that band. I remember them.
But I was super stoked to meet Seven Dust, and I got to meet them, and I actually got to exchange stories with LeJean Witherspoon, the singer of Seven Dust, and we got to have beers, and we got to kick back. We hung out for about an hour. It was really great. That was one of my bucket list meetings, but I actually got to meet him. So.
Oh gosh, they're such a good band, dude.
Dude, that's a killer, man.
Oh, they're so cohesive, and the songwriting and just every piece fits perfectly.
I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
So, the song that you guys had been producing and writing the last few years, and with a producer, are those songs going to be coming to fruition?
Yeah, they've been done since 2018, 2019. Yeah, that was with John Kurzwig, who produced Creed and Puddle of Mud and Godsmack. He's in Santa Fe.
See, that's right, yeah. Well, yeah, I was really interested to hear those tunes. I did get to hear, I believe, one song, and it was already sounding great. I hope you guys do something with that, man. You guys really need to.
Yeah, we're releasing the first single of it finally on March 1st, by the way.
Oh, nice. Good to know.
Yep. Living Life on Life's Terms is the song. We're getting a press release together. And yeah. No, I sent you that. I remember that. You were like, dude, this is some great stuff. And Uncle Dan's a little weird, but I really like it. So, yeah, that was fun.
Good to hear, man. I'm glad you guys are still working on it.
Yeah, this band is very open-minded with the members. And, yeah, I just had a drummer I worked with on it, and then I did everything else myself. Well, let me ask you this. Do you sing in the shower?
I mean, on a daily basis, usually in the mornings, of course. It's not necessarily in the shower, but it's definitely songs that I can sing along to. I really like a lot of John Mayer's music. I'm really influenced by his guitar playing, but also his vocal style. Okay.
Wow.
Anything that's really soft on the voice, I really don't like to. When I sing loud, and if I have to sing in a high pitch, I sing louder. So I tend not to make my voice any louder than I already am.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say, and then also. I still write a lot of music, and when I'm listening to my own music, I sing all the harmonies. I write different harmony parts for my own songs while I'm listening. I come up with different parts. I like to sing. Really, not so much like a hard rock style like you guys sing, but on a softer tone.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the harmonies. If we could have played more, we probably would have really lined it all up pretty awesome.
Exactly, I think so too. We could have done like 3-part harmonies.
Oh yeah.
It would have been the Eagles of 1967.
What's your songwriting process like when you're writing music?
So the way I write music is I usually start not so much with the vocals, but on either a bass line or even just a couple chords. But when I write really weird. I write all the music without any kind of melody in mind. I play a guitar line or a bass line. The bass is something I really write. It's probably the first instrument I would play on when I write a song. So I record a bass line or a guitar line, and I have no idea what I'm going to be doing next. I just lay down a guitar track, and a lot of times my songs tend to go in many directions, and they have a lot of key changes and a lot of bridges, and so when I do that, I never know where it's going to end up. Once I record a couple guitar tracks, I do clean, dirty. I'll add a lot of melody to my songs, and then when I pick up the microphone, I just start humming melodies. And 99% of the time, whenever I write a melody, it will stick. It will not change. I don't care how many times I try to change a song; it's always going to be the same after I record something. I once I get that tune stuck in my head, that's it. It's never going to change.
Nice.
But that's just the way I write.
It's amazing, man. What are your thoughts on how the music industry is operating these days?
Well, humans, I always say this, humans will adapt to anything. Doesn't matter what it is, any situation. 1 year later, all of us are adapting to COVID in our own ways. Just like the music industry, the more something takes off, let's say MP3s, for instance, they were illegal to be downloading and streaming, but now I'm just happy that artists, even though they're not making a lot of money, at least they're getting some sort of compensation, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or iTunes, or I wasn't too happy that anybody can just get on the internet and take someone's music. So myself, I buy into Apple Music, so the artists themselves can reap the benefits of me listening. So I think at that right now in this current state, it's going to be like this for quite a while. But album sales may not be high, but at least people are listening to music that belongs to the artist. Now, myself, I buy vinyl records, so I still contribute to the artist, although I'm paying probably triple the price. A vinyl record these days can be up to $30 an album. I'd rather do that because I own the music. I actually own a piece of the artist, and rather than just listen to it on YouTube or illegally download it, which everyone has done that before. But I used to like to buy albums. I like a physical copy. But even though that's not happening right now, album sales are extremely low. At least I'm still able to contribute to the artist.
Absolutely.
And I think it's working. I mean, honestly, think about it now. 10 years ago, anytime you had music on your iPod or whatever it was, 75% of the time that music came illegally, and we weren't contributing anything to the artist. So I think that things are on the right path now.
You're probably right. What would you be doing right now if it wasn't for music?
Well, I do. I have a family business, and my family has been in business for 40 plus years. I guarantee if it wasn't music, I'd probably be in computers. Or I'd be a chef or a cook somewhere, which I am a cook. I'm also a connoisseur of food, but I'm not necessarily a chef. I never went to school for it. Well, I did go to school for it, just never graduated. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. So it would definitely be the restaurant business still.
Oh, yeah. Where have you performed, Abe?
Where do I perform?
Where have you performed over the years? Favorite, least favorite venues?
Yeah, I've actually played quite a few really big shows with several artists. I've played with New Mexico artist. His name is Tobias Rene. He's a household name here in New Mexico. I don't know if you remember Al Hurricane living here in New Mexico.
Vaguely.
Do you remember Al Hurricane, the old man with the patch? he's like the godfather of New Mexico music, and I'm really into Latin music and New Mexico music myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you live in New Mexico, eventually you're going to join a New Mexico band. So yeah,
Nice.
I played with Tobias Renee, I played with Gonzalo, I played with El Hurricane. I have several groups here in Las Vegas that I play with. We've played Colorado, we've been to Texas, we've been to Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, various cities around Las Vegas, New Mexico. I've also had the pleasure of playing at the Launch Pad in Albuquerque. I've also played at the Sunshine. I was able to play at Sandia Casino, which was the biggest I've ever played. It was Tobias Renee opening up for Los Lonely Boys.
Nice.
And yeah, we did a tour, four-day tour, and we played in Silver City and we played in Colorado. But my biggest concert ever was Sandia Casino. It was sold out. All I can say was where I stood, Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin stood there, along with many other greats. I can make a list of the artists who have stood on that stage. Some being like B.B. King and the Beach Boys, Willie Nelson, Santana, Poison, Def Leppard has played there, Weezer, so many big names, household names have stood on that stage. And that was always my biggest treasured performance. We did great. I was not nervous one bit. I
Nice.
get nervous playing in front of 20 people, much less 6,000.
Nice. Let me ask you this one. Kirk Hammett or Dave Mustaine guitar solos in Metallica? Which do you prefer?
Well, unfortunately, Dave Mustaine only had one album in Metallica. And Kirk Hammett, he is where he's at for a reason. He may not be the most technical, but when you look at his influences, he doesn't stray. He knows what he can do and what he can't do, and he doesn't try to do more than he can't. And then you look at people like Dave Mustaine, who also has the same, I guess you can say, old habits. He tends to play like Dave Mustaine. So, Dave Mustaine has the most shredding guitar solos when it comes to those two. But Kirk Hammett, I believe he writes more memorable leads. You can actually sing Kirk Hammett's guitar solos, and then you look at Dave Mustaine, who is more of a shredder and he plays more notes. You can't really hum along to Dave Mustaine's guitar solos. So I would go along with, I would say Kirk Hammett, just for the sense that he has more memorable guitar lines.
Yeah, you listen to the Ride the Lightning guitar solo, and that's a nice example of how it's all melodic and you like that kind of triplet, wah wah.
There's a lot of bands that, but those bands matter. So when he plays a lot of his notes, he learned from Joe Satriani, gave him guitar lessons at one point.
Yep.
And I remember Joe Satriani mentioning this. He goes, you want to be able to sing along to your guitar solos or hum them in a way. It's not how many notes you play, it's what notes you play.
I agree.
And I also know that Kirk Hammett has been guilty of playing overusing like the wah pedal, but that's who he is, and I'm okay with that. Now, if Dave Mustaine started trying to use a wah pedal the way Kirk Hammett did, it wouldn't work out.
Yeah. Well, hey, Abe, what's next for you, man?
Well, I have 2 albums under my belt. I'm really happy. I'm real proud of my first, but then when I worked really hard to reproduce a lot of those songs on the first album and put them on my second album. I busted my ass on the second album, and all I ever wanted to do is make a perfect album. 12 songs of just every single song has to be top notch, no weak links. So I have to top that. I need to top my second album. My second album was an accumulation of at least 6 different genres. When it comes to instrumental, it has pop, it has rock, it has heavy metal, it has cover tunes, and there's so many genres on my second album now that I have to top that, and I have to. So I'm writing songs right now for my third album, but nothing is really set in stone. I really should have used COVID as an excuse to come up with something new and better, but I haven't done it. I've really just been concentrating on my life and my family and my home and my business.
Oh yeah.
But that's not to say that the music isn't flowing through me. I'm still very active in my music career, although we're not playing gigs. Like I said, I practice. I try to practice daily. I try to keep my chops up. As far as myself, I still want, as soon as COVID is done and we can start playing again, I'm going to try to play as much as I did before. I've gotten really comfortable being at home and enjoying the weekends off. Before COVID started, I literally played every weekend. I was gone every weekend, and I was still able to pay my bills that way because the bands I play with, they're some pretty big artists, and I made enough money to travel and afford to go out and eat and get rooms and such, and still come home with some money and not be in the hole. One of the hard parts I have with touring is when it's on your own dime, that's more of a hobby. It's not really a career unless you're able to support yourself. So I'm very careful on where I go. It can't be too far, it gets expensive.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you know about that.
Yep.
You know about that.
How can we find your music? What's it under? Is it under Abraham Garcia? How can we get it?
Well, I have a hard time deciding if I wanted to put my second album on iTunes because it has half covers and half originals. So instead of paying royalties and doing all that crap with paying the artist, it would have came out to a lot of money. I chose to just make it an EP of my original songs. So it came out. It's been 2 years that it's been out, but I'm going to be putting out an EP of my second album, and my first album is going to be on iTunes as well. I'm going to make that an EP as well. So 2 EPs, but it's not on iTunes yet. But I do have my second album on Bandcamp.
Okay.
So you're able to get in touch with my music through Bandcamp, and you just put the words Hammer Jammer. That's my nickname, Hammer Jammer, and that's actually my name on Facebook at the moment.
Okay.
So if you plug those words in on Bandcamp, my album will come up, and it's got like a blue mountain scene with a big moon on it, and the album is called Strings Attached.
That's great, man. We definitely missed New Mexico and the beautiful sunsets and sunrises. Again, Abe, thank you for interviewing with us. We really appreciate it, and your contribution with 1967. We're excited to keep performing with you in the future, and we hope you have a great day, man.